I want to tell you a story about a student back in 1991 that went to Guatemala with us to work in the Guatemala City garbage dump, a medical clinic, a YWAM medical clinic there where we had a team of pre-meds and nurses. When I asked this particular student why the Lord led her to be a part of our summer internship that year, she closed her fist and pounded down on her knee and spoke a bit through her teeth and said, "I'm going to be a pediatrician." I was a little surprised and took some time there to pray for her. When I realized that she had closed her fist, it's very much like closing her own heart. Quietly, in my own heart, I said, "God, teach Anita to open this fist that was pounding down on her knee, to open this fist and turn it into an open hand, like an open heart, in which God can put things in and He can take things out, so that God could lead her, provide for her, and guide her into her calling." That summer we were working in a Guatemala City dump, and at the clinic she was becoming very, I'd say, assertive. She was dominant in her personality and pushing people around, directing people to do things that maybe they didn't want to do, or felt a little uncomfortable that Anita was somehow becoming the leader of the team when she wasn't. Even the nurse who was in charge of these interns came to me saying, "There's a bit of a problem with Anita." So I stopped in on the clinic and visited to see what was going on. As soon as I peeked my head in the door, Anita took a broom from the corner, handed it to me and said, "Here, this area needs sweeping." And so I went to work. I could have stopped and said, "Why am I doing this? I'm the director." I could have reacted to Anita, but rather I chose to go and sweep and pray. And while I was praying, I was saying, "God, what's going on with Anita?" And God said something to me I believe was very, very, very instructive for us today. He said, "Anita has a leadership gift." Of course, I thought that was obvious. Anyone would have known that Anita had a leadership gift. But then God said, "She's not using the leadership gift my way." And I understood. So I said, "Anita, can we meet? I'd like to share with you something I believe maybe God is a word of encouragement for you." And Anita said, "Okay." We sat down later that afternoon. And I said, "Anita, I believe God said that you have a leadership gift." And she was surprised and happy and said, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah." But he said, "You're not using his gift his way. He wants you to look for ways to release the gifting of others. Leadership is done by looking into the people you work with and encouraging them to fulfill the call on their life, to do the thing they're gifted to do the thing that will bring joy for the whole community, not just telling people what to do." Over time, Anita opened her hand. She opened her heart. She served her team as a true humble servant, and she made a transformation within that group because everyone had much more joy and much more encouragement in offering their gift. Now, I want to explain that the hand is very much like the heart. When we have a closed hand, God can't put anything in and He can't take anything out. We could have hands that demand control, like holding on to the reins of our lives, or we can have the hands of a servant that's willing to allow God to put in what He wants and take out what He wants. We could have the hands of someone that rebels and demands their own rights, or we could have the hand of a volunteer, a surrendered worshiper. And which do you suppose God wants us to be? And what do you think it means to disciple nations? In that spirit of humility, we can be His servants, offering our very best with a kind of excellence that is crucified. We're doing our very best, but we're doing it with a heart of humility. And therefore, the gift is really from God through us to others. And we offer something that's of greater value than coming in from the outside thinking that we can impart something or that we can accomplish something in our own strength. Instead, you become a vessel, a conduit of God's grace and blessing through a spirit of humility and servanthood.